from District 205 Families. I wanted to take a minute today and share with you some information about the iReady Classroom Mathematics program. This is the program that our district has adopted for grades K through 8. So first I want to talk about why we chose iReady Classroom Mathematics. There are a lot of math programs out there, but an independent nonprofit called edreports.org rates K through 12 instructional materials to help students get the best possible materials. It helps districts make good decisions, and edreports.org rates iReady Classroom Mathematics among the best. It has research-based mathematics routines integrated into the instruction. There's an iReady portion. It's that blended learning where part of it's online and part of it's in the classroom. But the iReady portion diagnoses individual student needs and personalizes instruction just for them. It'll help students to fill in those gaps they may be missing. And then real-world application is emphasized in every lesson. So the information that we get from EdReports is like this. Gateway 1, they look at focus and coherence. They want to make sure that the materials that we're presenting to students are focused on the right standards in an order that makes sense and that will help them progress through their grade level material. Gateway 2 is rigor in mathematical practices. So is this a rigorous program, and does it focus on the 8 mathematical practices put forth in Common Core? And usability. You can see it got the highest possible score in usability. That means, is it friendly to teachers and students? Is it easy for them to navigate and use? Are there an abundance of resources for them if they need to differentiate the instruction, if they want to help their kids who are struggling while still pushing along the kids and enriching those students that are ready to go? So your student can log into iReady through Clever. Clever is the online portal that keeps us from having to memorize all those passwords and usernames. So they click on iReady and it will bring them to their student page. The dashboard at the bottom has their choices. And if you look, this is the to-do page. On the to-do page on the left with the blue banners are the teacher assigned things. Here a teacher could assign a specific lesson, and they could assign a comprehension check, but anything that the teacher is assigned will be on the left side, and on the right in green you'll see their diagnostic when it's time for that. The diagnostic is that test that they'll take 3 times a year. The Diagnostic Assessment is pretty remarkable. It's an adaptive assessment, which means it adjusts the questions to suit your student's needs. If your student is struggling, it might give them slightly easier problems to see where they are in their learning. If your student is being successful, it will give them harder and harder problems. So it's sort of like leveling in a computer game. Each item that a student sees in their individual test is based on their answer to the previous question. So sometimes students will get frustrated because they'll see material that they've never seen before, but that's iReady's way of trying to figure out where they are in their learning path. So if you happen to have a student taking the diagnostic at home, please resist the urge to help your student. If you do help your student, it's going to put them on a tougher path when they get to the MyPath lessons. Their MyPath lessons are tailored just for them, and it's based on their diagnostic results. The diagnostic results might look something like this. You can see this was for Diagnostic 1. This was a student who was in 4th grade. If you look at the chart there on the left with the blue line, they scored 440. Typical would be 463. That's typical growth. So that's the growth of the typical student that we would hope to see. Then they have what's called stretch growth, where we want to stretch those students just a little further, and we're hoping they can get there. If you notice, typical growth still doesn't get them into their actual grade level. So we want to go for that stretch growth in this case. And then if you look on the right with the dots, it looks like this student scored at a grade 3 in number and operations. They did score on grade level at early grade 4 in algebra and algebraic thinking. The 2 areas they struggled in the most were measurement and data and geometry, where they scored at the 2nd grade level. So these are probably the 2 areas that the MyPath would focus on first. The diagnostic also gives the student's teacher a wealth of information to help put them on the right path. And if we go back to that dashboard at the bottom, this is their My Progress. In this section, they can see the progress on where they are with their MyPath, how many lessons they've attempted, how many lessons they've completed. They can see all of the grades for the work that's been done on here. They can see their diagnostic score, And they can see anything that the teacher has assigned, a comprehension check or a lesson. They can see the scores for this as well, so they can keep track of their own learning. Then on the dashboard, there's a tab called My Stuff. This is just kind of the fun page where students can change their background if they want to, just to personalize it a little bit. At the lower elementary grades, they can find a little buddy on there. It's a little cartoon character. Just something fun for them. And there are also rewards here. They can earn credits by taking lessons to play some games. This is my personal favorite, the bookshelf. They have 24/7 access to their textbook online. If you open up that textbook, click on that textbook, you'll see on the left, it has a table of contents. You can click on the unit and then on the lesson that they want. But at the top, boxed in yellow, I've highlighted the toolbar up there. There are some pretty nice tools up here. If they click on the ear, it will read that portion of the book to them. They can print a page if they wish to, if they've lost their book or left their book at school. They can zoom with that little magnifying glass. The little ribbon is a bookmark. They can bookmark a page. They can turn that pen into a pencil or a highlighter to either highlight or take some notes. There is a calculator available to them. And then the 1-2 allows them to look at one page at a time or a 2-page spread. So this is what the 2-page spread looks like. And then this is another great option. There is a family letter that goes with each lesson. The family letter is going to introduce to you, the family, what it is they're learning. It also explains how iReady goes about teaching this particular topic, and it will give you, and I'll show you in a second, it will give you an activity that you can do with your student to help solidify your learning. You notice on the right, I have a little arrow that shows there's a tool available. If that little icon pops up, it means there's some sort of tool that they can use to help them with this. Here's an example of an activity. So this was on the back of that family letter. It's an activity on multiplying whole numbers and decimals. So it gives you a step-by-step lesson that you can do or activity that you can do with your student. And if we go back to the dashboard, I mentioned tools. There is a tool icon on their dashboard. They can find all kinds of tools, and they're welcome to use them with any lesson that they want, even if it's not a suggested tool. And then the last icon down there is learning games. If they click on learning games, all kinds of choices pop up. The learning games are to help increase fluency, and they can unlock more games by playing more games. These do not count toward their MyPath if they have assigned lessons, but they are a fun way to practice fluency. If you have any questions at all about your iReady classroom with your students' progress or with how things work, feel free to contact your child's teacher or principal, and they will be happy to help you. Thank you.